Lilo and Stitch, this was an idea that you've had for like 17 years? Is that true?
It's interesting from the standpoint that when I got to Marvel Productions, in my off time, I was trying to do a children's book, and I worked on it about 1 month, and I came up with this character, which was he was really the prototype for Stitch. The idea was probably way too subtle to ever be made into a children's book. I had to reduce it down to like 24 pages, say. I knew it wasn't going to work, so I almost immediately abandoned it. And I always remembered it, though. I always remembered it. 17 years later, after finishing Mulan, I was talking to Tom Schumacher, and he said, "Do you have any ideas for a film that you might want to pitch?" And I remembered that children's book that never really worked out, and I thought that character. The reason it didn't work out was it was just too subtle an idea. And even at that time, I thought the only way this is going to really work is if it were committed to film. It needs a longer time period to unspool. So I pitched that idea, and that was what became the film.
You actually supply the voice for Stitch. Now, how did you go about creating the voice and coming up with that particular sound? And did it go through some changes? And how did it first start out, and then kind of do the evolution? And now the evolution of Stitch.
The evolution is that we thought it would be really neat if Stitch actually never said anything. Dumbo never utters a word the entire film, and we liked that limitation. So the film was designed around the idea that he would never speak. Pretty soon we realized that he was going to at least have to make little noises like growl and bite and things like that. And we couldn't think of a more uncomfortable scenario than having some sort of a prominent actor hired to come in and then say, no, don't talk, just grunt and burp and squeak and snarl. And then I thought, okay, that's not going to work. And then Dean said, well, you do that all the time, so why don't you start doing it for him, and then we'll see what happens later. So I started using this little voice, this little thing that I do all the time anyway, to fill in for his voice. And it began to stick after a while. It sort of worked out that it's like, well, rather than ask somebody else to do it, I'll just do it. Later on, we realized that he was going to have to say a couple of things. And then eventually we realized actually he has to say a rather pivotal thing at the very end of the film. And that's when I got very uncomfortable with the idea. Like, it really sort of ceased to be fun at that point, because I thought, okay, I would never want to be accused of like, yes, this my evil plan, it's all worked out. I did this whole thing so I get my voice on film. And I said, when I go in to record that, if I can't pull it off, then we will go back and we'll recast and we'll find somebody else to do it.
And Charlton Heston as Stitch. Lilo and Stitch featuring Burgess Meredith.
Oh, I think that part of it was too. We thought, something. We really did want him not to really speak through the entire film. So I think part of the fear was that if we got a really great actor in the booth, eventually the temptation would be too great to have him start speaking. So we wanted to avoid that temptation altogether. But it worked out. And it's just a little voice I always used. I would call people up on the phone and just say things to them and bother them late at night and things with that voice. And it finally found a use. It found a practical application.
That's it. Now you can be at cocktail parties. And you can order drinks as Stitch. You can go on the road. And now Chris Saunders as Stitch.
Personally, I tend to do things that are really cute, but also sort of have little elements of kind of fun creepiness and stuff. So Stitch is a great example of that.
It's fun, but it's creepy.
It's nice. It's cute and creepy at the same time. It's like
kind of like clowns. Clowns used to terrify me.
Yes.
They're fun, but they're very creepy.
Imagine seeing one wandering through your neighborhood at night. It would just, why is that out there?
Can you imagine that? You're the clown, and you're lost, You're Ringling Brothers, and you have your outfit on. Your buddies drop you off as a joke. It's like midnight.
No one would help you.
Oh, no, they wouldn't. That'd be too creepy. It'd be like, what was that? There's been too many horror films with clowns.
Yeah, or seeing one. One of my greatest fears is just like being deep in the woods and seeing one wandering around at night, just with some sort of purpose.